Alright, for this video I want to go through a sample form 4562 for the 2023 tax year. And in this scenario we're going to look at a manufacturing business filing an S corporation return, and they are going to be claiming Section 179 for some property that they purchased during the year. So in this example, we're going to have a scenario where they're going to have some excess carryover of 179 because they don't have enough taxable income. So we'll get into more detail on why that occurs, but we also have the full 1120S here, so we'll cover all the forms and schedules with the return that are really relevant for purposes of this Section 179. And then we've also got the sample financial statements for the company here, so we'll touch on this a little bit. And then lastly, I've got just one slide here with some basic background on the 179 deduction, and then some more details on the fact pattern itself. So when we talk about this 179 deduction, it's often brought up in the same conversation as bonus depreciation. So bonus depreciation is a deduction, a first-year deduction for a percentage of the value of the property. With 179, it's not a percentage, it's a dollar limit. So for 179 purposes, in 2023, the dollar limit that you can deduct across all the property is $1.16 million. Now, unlike the bonus depreciation, Section 179 has a taxable income limitation. So what this means is that you cannot use Section 179 to create an overall business loss. Right, and so that's what we're going to see with our example fact pattern here is the company claims 179, but they have a taxable income limitation that suspends a portion of their deduction. It's not lost forever, it just gets carried forward to next year. And so S corporations, we use this S corporation business income limit worksheet, and that's important because the taxable income isn't simply the line one ordinary income of the business. There are some adjustments that have to be made. Now, the 179 deduction is a separately stated K1 item. And this is because not only is it a taxable income test at the entity level, but the shareholders have to do the same when they're doing their 1040. So by separately stated, what I mean is if we have a look at the 1120S here, if we go to Schedule K, the deduction for 179 is separately stated on line 11. So the depreciation expense isn't included in line 1 up here. So normally when we hear depreciation, we have a 4562 and it's included on line 14, right? So that's where our maker's depreciation would be. Or if we have bonus depreciation, it would be included here. Not with the 179 expense. It has to be separately stated on the K1. All right. Now, why would you want to take the 179 deduction? Well, over the bonus depreciation, it could be more preferable for state purposes. So that's the first thing is a lot of states conform to 179 and meaning they will let you claim a federal 179 deduction for state purposes, but they do not like federal bonus depreciation. So states like New York, Connecticut, they really don't like federal bonus depreciation at all, but they will give you some leeway with 179. So that's one reason you might want to do it. The other reason is the 179 does give you the option to deduct the full cost of the property, right? So bonus depreciation, it was 100%, but now it's being phased out. So for 2023, the bonus depreciation limit is 80% of the property, and then it goes down to 60% in 2024 and so on. So 179 is still a very valuable tool if you're looking to write off the entire amount. All right, so let's have a look at the fact pattern here, and then we'll get into the return. So this is an S corporation formed during 2023, and the company manufactures widgets that it sells to customers in the U.S., and so the company needed to purchase some CNC machines, so they bought one for $84,050 and a second machine for $92,500, and both of these machines are 100% used for business purposes. Now, the company is going to elect out a bonus and claim 179 because they want to write off all of it. Now, they're going to have a suspended amount, right, but they anticipate being profitable again next year, and so they're going to be able to use all of it next year. That's kind of the logic here. All right, so let's have a look at the 4562 and start getting into this. So line 1 at the top here is where we enter the maximum amount available for the current tax year. So for 2023, we're looking at $1.16 million. Line 2 is where we enter the total cost of all this property that we place into service that we're going to be claiming 179 for. Now, why do we do that? Well, that's because there is a threshold test. So on line 3, the threshold here, 2.89 million, what they're getting at here is if you have property that you're going to be claiming 179 for, and it exceeds 2.89 million, you have to reduce this limitation up here on line 1, dollar for dollar. Now, in our case, it's not going to be a problem because we're well below that 2.89 million figure, so 176,000. Line 4 is simply 0 because we're not going to have any reduction, and line 5, the dollar limit for our current year is going to be that 1.16 million, so it's left unchanged. Now, line 6 is where we list out the property that we're going to be claiming the 179 deduction for. Now, if you have more than 2 pieces of property that you're going to be claiming it for, then you can attach a statement. So you can put C statement here and then reference a statement where you have the same columns and the same detail. You just list the 6, 7, 8, 9, however many pieces of property that you're claiming 179 on. So the listed property line item, line 7, that's coming through from page 2. So listed property are automobiles, other vehicles. They have to be separately reported in their own section here. You can't just report them up on page 2 on line 6. And so if you had any listed property that you were claiming 179 for, that amount reported in line 29 would ultimately flow through up here to line 7. So in our case, we've just got these 2 assets, so no issues there. So the tentative deduction here is going to be the smaller of line 5 or line 8. So 176,550. It's below the 1.16 million. So at this level or at this point in the process, you can deduct the entire cost of the of the property. Right? We're getting the full 176,550. However, now we have to look at the taxable income limitation. So line 10, if we had been in business last year and we had any carryover amount, you would enter the carryover on line 10. So this is the first year we're in business, so obviously we have a blank field there, it doesn't apply. But for next year, we will roll forward our excess, right? So for the 2024 4562, we are going to see a line item on 10. Now here's the business income limitation part. So line 11, we have to enter the smaller of business income or line 5, right? So our business income, $128,006. Initially, the component in that is just your line 1 ordinary income. So line 1 ordinary income here is the $58,006. However, you are entitled to some adjustments, and so that's what we have on our 179 worksheet. So this is an S Corporation business income limit worksheet. And so what this does is it uses our line 1 ordinary income as a starting point. So there's our 58,006. But then you have certain additions and subtractions to get to an adjusted business income limit. So the one adjustment we have here are the wages paid to the shareholders. So the shareholder employees, to the extent that you have W-2 compensation paid to those individuals, you can add back that amount to get your adjusted ordinary business income. Now, you can't add any other employee salaries, right? It's just the shareholders that are also employees that you can add back. So our adjusted business income limit here is $128,006, and so we enter that figure on line 11. And so now line 12, our section 179 expense, is going to be adding 9 and 10, so line 9 plus 9, 10, but we can't enter more than the business income. So $128,006 is our business income limitation. That's going to be our 179 deduction for the year. Now the difference here, 48,544, that's the excess that's not lost forever, right? It's just disallowed for this year and it's rolled forward to next year. All right, so 48,544 gets rolled forward. 128,006 gets reported as our Section 179 deduction. And so ultimately that amount flows through to the K-1s for each of these shareholders, and it's reported, again, on their Form 1040s when they do their own tax returns. So in this example, John's K-1, we can see his line 1 income, line 4, some interest, and then down here on line 11, that's his allocation of the Section 179 deduction. All right, so that covers it for this video. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you.